Hello creation, I hope you're well. This one's more on a personal note. I've just written it. It's a good paragraph. It's just about a third of a sheet of A4, but it's small writing. And it's called My Dad, actually. Yeah, just wanted to share a bit with you, really. I used to sit and watch you as you robbed Peter to pay Paul, and after pen and paper maths, you still had bugger all. I watched on as you grafted hard with a frown upon your brow. I wouldn't have known how to truly love a child if you had not shown me how. I asked you once how come it was that we didn't go abroad, and you said you'd done all your travelling whilst fighting in the war. I was 28 years of age, and that was the only time I saw my dad cry. He blamed himself for not being with his lifelong friend at Dunkirk. He said he might have been able to save him had he been by his side. A waif of a man with a heart full of love and a kind smile upon his beautiful face. Remembered fondly by both family and friends, this was a true gentleman who knew no disgrace. As the years pass by and he retires through poorly health, a pet Jack Russell he is gifted. In an instant, Dad is born again. It was wonderful to see how his spirit was lifted. Whenever he took the dog for a walk, most he passed would stop to talk. A kind word here or a little joke, but always with the kindest smile. Then across the fields he'd go, him and his dog, with a ball to throw. And this they'd do for many a mile. In the end, it was cancer that took a hold of my dad, to take away my hero, the one whose loss would break my soul, as I had lost the only, truly, unconditionally loving friend that I'd ever had. After more than a quarter of a century, I still miss his mischievous and often clumsy ways, but it is always with the purest of love that I remember my dad, and I thank the soul that incarnated as him, and for the invaluable role in my life that it played. Aye, it were lovely. It were lovely. It were only a small chap. It were. I think I might have mentioned it in one of the early videos, but when I used to give him a hug, I used to rest my chin on his head. I used to rest my chin on his head like that. It was tiny. I love you, Dad. And I just hear this muffled voice. Yeah, I love you and all, you know. But it was lovely that. It was lovely. It were grand. It became a bit of a grumpy bugger like towards, in later life. And if he didn't want you there, he'd let you know, But like I've said, we mustn't take things personally, because we don't know who's suffering in whatever ways, do we? But like I said, the only time I saw him shed a tear, and it was the only time in my life when I saw him shed a tear, was I was 28 years of old, and it's the only time that he spoke about the war, and he told me a few stories, quite gruesome, one of them, that I'm not going to go into, but he he said, you know, when he was telling me about his mate, and his mate, I think it was Jack, a gentleman called Jack Cartwright, from the village, and my dad said, if only I'd have been with him, perhaps I might have been able to save him, because he'd been killed at Dunkirk on the beach, you know. And I told me, and then, you know, I saw my dad shed a tear, and I'd never seen, you know. But a lot of that generation they locked it all away, didn't they? You know, which will have haunted them, and it affects their lives. If we lock stuff away and we don't deal with it, it affects their lives, you know. And as I did mention before, it was 15 years before it came out that I'd not grieved for my dad. I thought I had, but I hadn't. And that came out, and I went to jelly when it came out. You know, I really did. But I think when do you know, there's sometimes in life when, and I know there'll be a lot of people will resonate with this, when we are shocked by the loss of a friend or a family member, and they've gone at, it's just been unexpected. I mean, Dad's wasn't, you know, we found out Dad had got cancer, and it, you know, it took a little while for him to go. But there are some who, when they lose friends or family members, and it's a shock, and people are left in disbelief at what's happened, and they question why. Now the only comfort that I could possibly get and would offer you is the outcome, the bringing together through loss and love of that individual. It's the love that's shown for that individual that can bring communities together. As hard to bear as it can be, it's times of loss when people do tend to pull together, which is a shame really, because it should be like that in my opinion the whole time. But I understand that life's not like that, because we're distracted by life itself, you know, by societal structures and all the rest of it, and what's expected of you. And you know, unless we live our lives and be honest to ourselves, we will never break free from that system. That system will just keep you in chains. When we do that which makes us happy, not that which keeps us in the restraints, keeps us operating under the banner of unhappiness. Until we can release that, free ourselves from those societal bondage, then we won't live a happy life. It's love that matters above all else, and I keep saying it, but and I will say it until I die, because it's true. All that other stuff's been done, and it's been done to death. We must grieve those who are gone. That's one thing what I will say. We must, because if we don't, it can have an effect on our lives. We must let it go, we must let the past go, and we must heal from it. But it's love is the way forward. Put pen to paper. Write those letters to those who you've loved, who's lost, and see how it makes you feel. Take care.